She knows what she wants tonight. Moves fast like a neon tide. Confidence in every line. She's got style to find.
The Package, Chapter 4. The opulence of the penthouse suite was a stark contrast to the grimy warehouse and the hidden forest compound. Polished mahogany gleamed under recessed lighting, expensive artwork adorned the walls, and a panoramic view of the Manhattan skyline glittered through floor-to-ceiling windows. The air, despite the chilly rain outside, was warm and thick with the scent of fine cigars and ambition. At the head of the long elliptical table sat a man known only as the director. He was impeccably dressed, his silver hair perfectly coiffed, his eyes sharp and calculating. His calm demeanor belied the immense power he wielded and the ruthless efficiency with which he built his empire. Flanking him were two figures Natasha had identified: the powerfully built man, his name now revealed as General Riker, and the sharp-featured woman, Dr. Evelyn Shaw, Centipede's chief scientific mind. Both carried themselves with an air of absolute conviction. Across from them sat a delegation of three individuals: Senator Thomas Albright, a man whose political star was rapidly ascending, known for his staunch anti-shield rhetoric and his advocacy for private military contractors; Ambassador Mei Lin, representing a powerful faction within the Chinese government, her face an unreadable mask of diplomacy; and Mr. Kendrick, a shadowy figure from a multinational corporation whose name was synonymous with advanced robotics and defense technology. "Gentlemen, Ambassador," the director began, his voice smooth and resonant, "I thank you for joining us on such short notice. As you know, our project has reached a critical juncture." Senator Albright leaned forward, his expression impatient. "The package, Director. We were assured its acquisition would be seamless. Shield's interference, will it affect the schedule?" "A minor setback, Senator," Dr. Shaw interjected, her voice cool and precise. "The field test, while compromised, provided invaluable data. It confirmed the device's self-containment protocols under extreme duress, and it highlighted a unique interaction with a specific biosignature, which we are now replicating." Ambassador Lin spoke for the first time, her English flawless. "Our interest, Director, is in the power output. Your assurances were quite grand. This Exodus project, as you call it, promises to reshape global energy paradigms. My government requires a concrete demonstration." "And your government will have it, Ambassador," the director replied, a faint smile playing on his lips. "General Riker." Riker rose, striding to a large holographic projector in the center of the table. With a gesture, the image of the glowing cylindrical energy core in the facility materialized. "This is the heart of the Exodus project," he announced, his voice booming with authority. "A stable, self-sustaining energy source drawing directly from ambient environmental energy, limitless, clean, and entirely off-grid. No fossil fuels, no nuclear waste." "And the Chitauri components?" Mr. Kendrick asked, his voice raspy, his eyes narrowed on the holographic image. "Your initial proposal spoke of unparalleled power, but also inherent instability." "That is where Dr. Shaw's genius comes into play," the director said, gesturing to her. "The Chitauri shard provides the initial catalyst, a burst of exotic energy that kickstarts the ambient absorption. The device then self-regulates. We are currently integrating the second, larger shard at Site Gamma. Once fully integrated, the output will be sufficient to power a city the size of Shanghai for a year. Imagine the geopolitical ramifications." A ripple of impressed murmurs went around the table. "And for military applications?" Senator Albright pressed, his eyes gleaming. "The core can be scaled," Riker confirmed. "It can be miniaturized to power advanced weapon systems, energy shields, even tactical EMPs. Or, at its full capacity, it can be deployed as a strategic asset, effectively holding entire nations reliant on traditional power grids hostage." Ambassador Lin's gaze remained impassive, but a flicker of something, perhaps calculation, passed through her eyes. "So the incident in the warehouse was merely a test?" Kendrick asked, a hint of suspicion in his tone. "Precisely," Dr. Shaw confirmed. "A necessary step to validate the device's robustness. Shield's interference, while inconvenient, merely proved our theories about its resilience." The director steepled his fingers, his gaze sweeping over his audience. "The Exodus Project is not just about power, gentlemen. It's about control. Control over resources, over economies, over nations. And with your continued support, we will usher in a new era. Site Gamma will be operational within 48 hours, and then the world will truly understand the meaning of power." A chilling silence descended upon the room. Bone-chilling silence, broken only by the hum of the air conditioning and the distant city sounds. The implications of the director's words hung heavy in the air. This wasn't just a terrorist organization. It was a shadow government operating with the backing of powerful figures, poised to seize control of the global energy supply. In Fury's dimly lit private office on a helicarrier, he stares at the glow of multiple holographic displays showing mission reports, tactical maps, and complex data streams. Maria Hill stands opposite Fury's desk, looking tired but alert. Fury gestures toward a holographic display showing Sarah Walker's profile and recent mission stats. Another and exceptional intuition note on the arms dealer Operation Hill, and the cyber attack neutralization ran it down in half the time our tech teams projected. "What's your read?" "My read, Director? She's either the best CIA operative we've ever seen, or there's something else at play. Her processing speeds, pattern recognition, it's beyond human, even for a ghost like Walker." "Beyond human or enhanced?" Fury queried. The NSA's original assessment on her limited intersect exposure was either deliberately obtuse or dangerously naive. "Minimal lasting effect," they said. He scoffs, shaking his head slightly. "This isn't minimal effect. It's an operating system." "She doesn't exhibit the same instability as Bartensky did. No overt flashes, no debilitating information overload. It's seamless." Fury thought for a moment. Seamless, but there. The question remains, how much of it? And is it stable? Bartensky nearly cracked under the pressure of a civilian mind trying to contain that much data. Walker's trained for this. She's adapting. He leans back in his chair, his one eye fixed on Hill. The council, the remnants of the old guard, they'd tear her apart to understand it. They'd want to replicate it, control it, dissect her if that came to it. "You think she's a threat, sir?" "I think she's a variable, a powerful one, and one that needs to be within our control, not because she's a danger to us, but because others will see her as a tool or a specimen." He gestures to the holographic display again, tapping a point on Walker's profile. "Keep her on the deep dive assignments. Give her the puzzles. Let her intuition work. No direct probing, no overt tests. We observe, we analyze, we don't rattle the cage." "Understood. Protocol Night Watch activated, discreetly. I want to know if anyone else outside of this room even thinks about poking around her past or her current capabilities without my express authorization." Hill nods, then turns and exits the office, the door hissing shut. Alone in the silence, Fury stared at Walker's profile, then activating a separate, secure comm channel. He hesitated, not speaking into it. Fury scowled at Coulson's name on the display. Coulson. He'll need to know, eventually. He sees the results, not the method. Too close to the asset. Too loyal. He'd ask too many questions, or worse, he'd protect her in a way that puts the bigger picture at risk. Fury sighed, the weight of his decisions heavy on him. Not yet. For now, the less he knows, the safer she is. The safer we all are. He closes the comm channel, the screen going dark, leaving him in the near-total darkness of his office. The mood in the SHIELD Playground's tactical command center was grim but focused. The holographic map of Site Gamma, meticulously pieced together from Natasha's live feed, satellite scans, and Fitzsimmons' ground-penetrating radar, dominated the room. It revealed a multi-level subterranean complex, a labyrinth of reinforced concrete and energy conduits, built into the side of a large, seemingly natural hill. Phil Coulson stood at the central console, his face illuminated by the cool blue light of the display. Beside him were Melinda May, Daisy Johnson, and Bobby Morse, all clad in their tactical gear, their expressions resolute. Fitz and Simmons, though not field agents, were present to provide real-time scientific expertise. "Okay," Coulson began, his voice calm, cutting through the low hum of the machinery. "Romanoff's intel is solid. This isn't just a lab, it's a primary operational base. They're integrating a second, larger Chitauri power shard into the core, aiming for full operational capacity within 48 hours. He gestured to a pulsating red dot at the heart of the holographic complex. "That's our target, the energy core. Our primary objective is to disable and contain it. Secondary objective, neutralize centipede leadership and apprehend all operatives." May pointed to a series of heavily reinforced tunnels leading into the complex. "Standard entry points are too heavily guarded, and ground-penetrating radar shows extensive subsurface fortifications. A frontal assault is suicide." "Agreed," Coulson replied. "We're not going through the front door. Daisy, what's your assessment of their structural integrity at maximum output?" Daisy zoomed in on the holographic core. "Fitz and Simmons project that once the second shard integrates and the core reaches full stabilization, the internal pressure will be immense. It'll be contained, but the surrounding structure will be under incredible strain. There are several structural weak points, primarily where the energy conduits converge." "Meaning," Fitz interjected, "that if those conduits were disrupted during peak energy transfer, the resulting feedback loop could destabilize the entire system, potentially causing a localized implosion of the core rather than a wider explosion." "Controlled implosion?" Bobby raised an eyebrow. "That's a hell of a gamble." "It's the only way to prevent a catastrophic energy release," Simmons explained, tapping furiously on a tablet. "We'd be turning their own system against them. The localized implosion would cause a chain reaction, effectively collapsing the facility inward, containing the exotic energy. The implosion would also create an electromagnetic pulse, disabling their tech, at least temporarily." Coulson nodded. "That's our window. Daisy, you're the key. We need pinpoint control over the timing of that disruption. Can you hit those specific conduits from the outside?" Daisy's eyes narrowed, a spark of resolve in them. "With enough power and precise targeting, yes. But it'd be a Hail Mary. The energy signature from the core would interfere with my abilities if I'm too close." "You won't be," Coulson stated. "We'll need to create a diversion. That's where May and Morse come in. Standard infiltration, disable external sensors, draw their security forces away from the core's position." "Infiltration from where?" May asked, already mentally mapping the approach. "There's a ventilation shaft, barely visible on thermal, leading directly to the upper levels of the facility, near their command center. It's small, tight, but unmonitored from the outside." "Perfect," Bobby said, her lips curling into a predatory smile. "Once inside, cause chaos. Get their attention. Draw their forces away from the core chamber," Coulson instructed. "This will give Daisy the window she needs to get into position and deliver the precise seismic shock to those conduits. Timing is critical. You'll have a 5-minute window once the core hits 90% stabilization. Romanoff will be your eyes on the inside, providing real-time updates on the core's progress." "And if Shadow or Riker intervene?" May asked, her voice low. "Then you neutralize them," Coulson replied, his gaze hardened. "These people are playing with world-ending power." Then he turned to Fitz and Simmons. "While they're doing that, I need you two to finalize the Chitauri energy dampener.
If we can't get a full implosion, we need a way to stabilize that shard once it's outside the core. Working on it, sir, Fitz exclaimed, already back at his console, Simmons nodding vigorously beside him. This is going to be a high-risk operation, Coulson concluded, his gaze sweeping over his team. But Centipede's plans are too dangerous to ignore. We go in hard, we hit fast, and we contain that power source. We stop the Exodus project before it starts. The team exchanged grim, determined glances. The plan was audacious, relying on precise timing, coordinated chaos, and the extraordinary abilities of their agents. But the stakes were too high for anything less.
The pre-dawn gloom hung heavy over the site, pierced only by the intermittent chirping of crickets and the distant, almost imperceptible hum emanating from deep within the earth. Natasha Romanoff, a ghost among the trees, was already in position, her comms chirping softly in her ear as she relayed real-time thermal and energy readings from Site Gamma. Core stabilization at 78%. Natasha whispered into her comms, her voice a low murmur. Security patrols on schedule. 2 teams exterior, 1 interior, rotating every 20 minutes. Main entrance heavily armored. Secondary tunnel entrance currently clear. Understood, Black Widow, Coulson's calm voice responded from the playground. May, Morse, you are a go for infiltration. Daisy, prepare for deployment. Your window opens at 90%. Miles away, nestled in a specially modified, stealth-coated Quinjet, Daisy Johnson adjusted her gauntlets, her focus absolute. Below her, the Earth held its secrets, but not for long. Back in the forest, May and Bobby moved with practiced stealth. They were a symphony of calculated movements, their gear silent against the damp foliage. They reached the designated ventilation shaft, a cleverly disguised intake vent on the side of the reinforced hill, almost invisible to the naked eye. Looks clear, May confirmed, sweeping a specialized scanner across the vent. No thermal, no pressure plates. Good intel, Romanoff. Bobby deployed a small, extendable fiber optic camera, snaking it into the vent. Tight squeeze, but doable. Looks like it opens into a utility corridor, 1 level above the core chamber. Watch for laser grids, motion sensors, anything new. They're likely aware of their vulnerability from the top down. With a low grunt, May pried open the vent cover, the sound barely audible over the forest hum. She slid inside first, her movements fluid despite the confined space, her tactical light cutting a narrow beam through the dusty darkness. Bobby followed, her slim build allowing her to navigate the cramped shaft with surprising ease. The air inside was stale, metallic. They crawled for what felt like an eternity, the hum of the core growing steadily louder, a deep vibration that resonated through the metal ductwork. Finally, May reached the end of the shaft, a grate overlooking a narrow, dimly lit corridor. "Clear," she whispered, easing the grate open. She dropped silently to the floor, her landing cushioned by years of training. Bobby followed, her staves already extended, moving to cover May. The corridor was deserted. They were in. "Core stabilization at 85%, Natasha's voice cut through their comms. "You have approximately 10 minutes before Daisy needs to be in position." "Acknowledged," May replied, her eyes scanning the corridor, moving to secure their comms. They moved swiftly, navigating the cold, sterile hallways of the Centipede facility. The layout was complex, clearly designed to disorient, but Natasha's relayed blueprints were invaluable. They encountered a 2-man patrol almost immediately. May engaged, a silent whirlwind of precision strikes, while Bobby provided cover, her stabs a blur of controlled aggression. The Centipede agents went down before they could even draw their weapons. "Comm secure," May reported, disabling the patrol's communicators. Now for the fun part. They found the comm center, a small room buzzing with surveillance screens. Bobby quickly went to work, plugging in a discreet shield device.
Within seconds, a cacophony of alarms blared through the facility. Lights flashed red, and the hum of the core intensified, now sounding almost like a roar. "That's your cue, Daisy," Coulson's voice came through. "Black Widow, what's their reaction?" From her perch, Natasha observed the chaos erupting within the compound. Security forces are flooding towards the upper levels, responding to the breach. Riker and Shaw are moving to a secure bunker near the core. Shadow. He's still near the core, but he's not reacting with the others. He's watching. "He knows," May grimaced, already moving towards a stairwell. "Doesn't matter," Bobby retorted, leading the way down. "They're diverting their forces. Our job is done." They descended rapidly, leaving a trail of disarmed and confused centipede agents in their wake. Their objective now was simple: get to the core chamber, neutralize any remaining threats, and ensure Daisy had her window. Core stabilization at 92%, Natasha's voice was sharper now, urgency creeping in. "Daisy, you have 3 minutes to initiate the first tremor. They're about to seal the core chamber." "Acknowledged, Watchtower," Daisy replied, her voice tight with focus. "Getting into position now, ready to shake things up." The stage was set. The storm was about to break.
She's got style to find.